Okay, hey, this is math lesson 5. We're going to be solving a word problem. We're going to do a word problem for the next couple of lessons. So they're all going to be different word problems, but they are all still word problems. And we're going to be using plans to solve them. So let's go ahead and get started. This one says, Mike has 14 muffins. Tony has some muffins too. Together, Mike and Tony have 21 muffins. How many does Tony have? That can be kind of tricky. We have to think about what kind of problem this is. When we're using plans, one thing that we need to do is we need to label, and we need to think about what type of problem it is. So let's go through and label the important numbers. Okay. We know that there's 14 muffins. We know that Tony has some muffins. We know that together, that's a good word to think about. Mike and Tony have 21 muffins. So the question right here, we need to think about the question. How many does Tony have? That's the final question. And when we're doing our answer over there for A, that's the question that it wants us to answer. Don't get caught up. Don't think about other things that you know about this story problem. Those are great facts. But the question here is, how many does Tony have? Does it tell us how many Tony has? No, it tells us how many Mike has. It tells us how many Mike and Tony have, but it doesn't tell us just Tony. So when we think about just Tony, and it's asking us how many they have to get, or how many Tony has by himself, think about what kind of problem that is for a second. Think about how you're going to have to solve that problem. I'm going to give you just a second to think. Okay, so what kind of problem do you think this is? That's right, it is a missing addend. This one is a missing addend. Ta-da, missing addend. And that's going to help us to know how to write our number sentence. Okay, so we did label, so I'll put a little check mark by label. And we've got our missing addend. The next part of plans stands for answer. Do we have the answer yet? No, we're going to come back to answer. But let's go ahead and write our number sentence for N and think about our strategies S to solve it. Okay, so for number sentence, we know that Mike has 14 muffins. We know that Tony has some muffins. We don't know how many Tony has. And then we know that all together they have 21. So how could I write a number sentence to show that has a missing addend? How could I write a number sentence? Okay, well, I know that Mike plus Tony equals together. I know that Mike plus Tony equals how many they have together, or the total. So I know that Mike has 14. Oh, I wrote that on the wrong line. Y'all got to tell me. Well, I guess you can't tell me because this is a video, isn't it? Okay, 1 second. Mike plus Tony equals total. We know that Mike has 14. We know that Tony has some. And we know that the total is 21. So look at my number sentence now. 14 plus something equals 21. Okay, so what are some strategies I could use to solve that? Well, there's lots of different ways I could solve it. I could use subtraction. I could draw a model. I could think about a hundreds chart and help me that way. I think this time what we're going to do is we're going to set it up as subtraction in a fact family, and I'm also going to show you with models. So first, let's start with our fact family. Did I say? Yeah, I did say subtraction. Okay, good deal. Okay, so this is my first one that I have. I know that 14 plus something equals 21. I know that something plus 14 equals 21. I know that 21 minus something equals 14. I know that 21 minus 14 equals something. Okay, now which equation is going to work for me best? Which equation should I use to help me find this missing addend? Well, not this top one, because we got that over here and we still don't know what it means. Oh, what about this one? No. What about this one? No. Okay, we're going to use this bottom one where it has our missing addend as the answer. Okay, as the difference. So let me go ahead and circle that one. Well, if I could get my markers open. I'm going to go ahead and circle that one, because that's the one we're going to use. So the first thing I'm going to do now is draw models of 21. I'm going to section off how many Mike has, and then I'm going to section off how many Tony has to solve the problem. So first I'm going to draw 21. How do you draw 21 with sticks and cubes, with models? You draw 2 groups of 10 and then 1 unit. Do y'all see my 2 groups of 10 and 1 unit? Okay. Now 14 of those belong to Mike. I don't have enough ones to make 14. So what do I need to do? I've got to break up one of those sticks, don't I? It's still going to represent the same number. I'm just breaking it up so I can work with it a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little arrow. And now I'm going to draw them again. Actually, I'm just going to erase them because I'm running out of room on my board. So I'm going to erase the 21 and draw it again in a different way. I'm going to draw my group of 10. And then I'm going to draw my units. And I'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That represents the group of 10 that I broke up. And then don't forget my 1 unit from the number 21. So this still represents 21 down here in the bottom. It still means 21. Just because I don't have a stick and I did it as cubes, it still means 21. Now I can show how many Mike has. So Mike has 14. When I circle the number 14 for Mike, am I going to use that stick of 10 to make 14? I am, because it's 1 group of 10 and 4 units. So I'm going to pick 1 group of 10 and 4 units. And this equals Mike. 1 stick of 10 and 4 units. So how many are left to be Tony's muffins? How many muffins do we have left? Well, let's count them right here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 are left to be Tony's. 7 are left to be Tony's. So I'm going to go back up here into the fact family, fill in 7. All right, now I can go and write my answer and fix my number sentence. So for my answer, I'm going to write Tony has 7 muffins. Because remember, in the problem, that was the question it asked. It asked, how many does Tony have? Well, Tony has 7 muffins. Okay? And then I cannot forget to fill in the strategy. I used a fact family strategy, and then I drew models. So I'm going to write that down here. Fact, family, and models. Okay. All right, so we finally solved it. In the question of how many muffins did Tony have, we used fact families and models to figure out that Tony had 7 muffins. This was a missing add-in word problem. So good job for sticking with it. I know this was kind of a long video, but thanks for paying attention, and I'll see you later.